Let's now jump to the last lesson, which is lesson 4, ICT and social inequality. The rapid development of information and communication technology, or ICT, since the late 20th century has significantly changed how society functioned by improving communication, access to information, and delivery of services across the globe. Governments and international organizations have increasingly relied on ICT to address major issues such as poverty, education, healthcare delivery, disaster response, and economic recovery. However, despite its potential to connect people and nation, ICT have also exposed deep-rooted social inequality, even such as the global financial crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated that while technology can act as a lifetime in times of crisis, its benefits are unevenly distributed, leaving disadvantaged population more vulnerable due to lack of access, resources, and digital readiness. So, in layman's term, guys, even though ICT has helped us a lot, there will always be social inequality kay di man gud tanan afford ang dili tanan na internet, dili tanan na ay cellphone para magamit ng internet, and it costs nga kanang dili gani kanang equal ang mahatag ba sa gobyerno ba or even the international kanang kuan, even the international organizations can't do that. Di ba kanang naanan states dito nga technology can act as a lifeline in times of crisis. Its benefits are unevenly distributed. Kanang dili siya kanang pantay-pantay nga nahatag, leaving sa mga tao nga kanang kuan, leaving the disadvantaged population more vulnerable. So kanang mas prone sila sa mga kanang problema baron due to the lack of access, resources, and digital readiness. Kanang dili ka kanang mo engage ba kanang yung mga people nga kanang walay kanang cellphone, di ba? Wala sila access sa internet, or even do sa mga kanang yung mga tao nga dili lang gid techy, nasbaron sila yung friend nga musulti ani nga fake news dito kay kasi mong friend di sa ka mo verify nito usad dayon ka kay wala mo kay access sa internet para to sure ba nga tinuod ba na or dili.
Digital divide defined. The digital divide is the disparity between individuals and groups who have access to computers, the internet, and digital technologies and those who do not. First introduced in 1995 by the U.S. National Telecommunication and Information Administration, the concept originally focused on access to telephones and computers but has since expanded to include differences in skill, usage, and opportunities. Scholars emphasize that the digital divide reinforces existing inequalities in power, wealth, and participation, creating a separation between the information rich and the information poor. Today, the divide exists across socio-economic classes, education levels, geographic location, and even within communities that have uneven access to technological resources.
Digital divide in the Philippines context. In the Philippines, the digital divide manifests through slow internet speeds, high data cost, and unequal access between urban centers and rural, geographically isolated areas. Although there have been improvements in broadband infrastructure over the years, Philippines' internet speed continues to lag behind global and regional averages. Internet services are also among the most expensive in relation to average income, making access unaffordable for many Filipinos, especially minimum wage earners. This condition limits citizens' ability to participate fully in online education, digital work opportunities, e-commerce, and government services, further deepening economic and social inequalities in the country.
Access as multifaceted concept. Access to ICT should not be understood solely as a physical availability of devices or internet connections, but rather as a multifaceted concept involving psychological, material, skills, and usage access. Psychological barriers such as fear, trauma, and lack of interest prevent some individuals from using technology, while materials barriers stem from poverty and lack of infrastructure. Skills access refers to the absence of digital literacy and institutional support, and usage access highlights the limited opportunities to apply technology in meaningful ways, addressing only one dimension of access, particularly material access, fails to resolve the digital divide without comprehensive support system and inclusive policies.
ICT and access of education, or ICT access in education. The education sector highlights the seriousness of digital divide, particularly in public schools in the Philippines, where a significant number still lack reliable internet access. Reports show that many schools either have no internet connection or operate with limited connectivity, outdated equipment, and insufficient technical support. This problem became more evident during the COVID-19 pandemic when schools were forced to shift to online and remote learning. The lack of access to devices, connectivity, and trained education made it difficult for many students to participate effectively, resulting in learning gaps and increased educational inequality.
So inclusion refers to process of empowering individuals and communities by ensuring equitable access to ICT and along with skills, content, and institutional support needed for effective use. It goes beyond internet connectivity by encompassing hardware and software, digital literacy training, and availability of relevant culturally appropriate content. Digital inclusion emphasizes that meaningful participation in digital society requires not access but also that ability to use technology confidently and productivity to improve quality of life, economic participation, and social engagement.
For now, we're gonna head to our digital inclusion frameworks and strategies. So various international organizations and scholars have proposed frameworks to guide digital inclusion efforts, focusing on access, adoption, application, connectivity, capability, content, confidence, and continuity. So these frameworks stress that digital inclusion must be supported by the strong policies, institutional coordination, and legislation that promote affordability, relevance, and usability of ICT. Digital technologies must be integrated into everyday activities such as education, healthcare, governance, and employment to ensure the citizens see their value and are motivated to adopt them.
Several barriers hinder digital inclusion, including inadequate network infrastructure, high taxation on ICT services, low digital literacy, and lack of localized content. Rural and remote areas often receive less investment due to high cost and lower profitability, requiring government subsidies and policy intervention. Consumer barriers such as illiteracy and lack of awareness further limit effective ICT use, while the dominance of English language content reduces accessibility for non-English speakers. These obstacles collectively prevent marginalized groups from fully benefiting from digital technologies.
Philippine government initiatives. The Philippine government, through the Department of Information and Communication Technology or DICT, has introduced initiatives such as the National Broadband Plan and the E-Government Master Plan to improve internet quality and integrate ICT into public services. These programs aim to enhance infrastructure, improve interagency coordination, and promote efficient and transparent governance. However, despite increased funding and policy support, persistent challenges such as poverty, geographic isolation, insufficient teacher training, and limited institutional capacity continue to slow progress towards nationwide digital inclusion.
In conclusion, the digital divide is a complex and persistent issue shaped by economic inequality, geographic barrier, literacy level, and institutional limitation. While ICT has immense potential to promote development, education, and social inclusion, its benefit cannot be realized without comprehensive strategies that address both access and capability. Digital in conclusion serves as a holistic response to the digital divide by ensuring that technology becomes a tool for empowerment and social cohesion rather than a source for further exclusion. Achieving this goal requires sustained political will, cross-sector collaboration, and long-term investment in people and infrastructure. So, in conclusion, guys, kaning digital divide will never be kanang dili gyud siya mawala unless magtinabangay gyud ang tanan, like kanang for like simple lang nga kanang kuan will nga kanang gusto gid mo makatabang sa tao. It states nga kanang achieving this goal requires a sustainable political will, so dapat kanang najugay kanang will ba nga para sa kaayuhan sa tao, kaayuhan sa tao. Next is the cross-sector collaboration. So, from the word cross-sector, dapat kanang ang lahi gani nga mga organization, bansa kanang magtinabangay ba to make the long-term investment and people and in the infrastructure nga kanang kuan, never mind na lang nga mag-away mo basta kanang na for the betterment sa country nimo sa imong mga people. That's why we all should be responsible and willing to help in order for the digital divide to be completely out. Thank you, everyone.